Okay, well, welcome to COM 6500. I am Dr. Gordon, and I'll be the instructor for the course. I go by Dr. G, as you can see my name. So tonight I'm just doing a brief introduction, just so you can kind of get to know me, my expectations, what I'm looking for in the class. We talked a little bit before we got started. So Cole, being this is your last class, I guess maybe you can give some tips or tricks of how to be successful in the program. But I just kind of want to go through and kind of talk the format of class, kind of how I do things, because every professor does things differently, and I definitely do things differently. If you've looked at the syllabus or if you looked at the assignments, you'll kind of get a feel for that. But I'm not going to go through the syllabus like an undergraduate program. You're in a master's level program. You can read that. You can ask questions. I kind of want to touch base on it, just a few things concerning how the class is going to go. And again, I don't know how you've dealt with other classes, Cole. Again, you've seen a lot of them, right? So you see the full spectrum, right? I don't know how other instructors do it. Honestly, I don't care. I'm just telling you how I do it, right? And you just have to make it through this last hurdle of Dr. G, which you will. It'll be fine. But, we have weekly discussion boards. Your initial post is to be posted by Wednesday. Then you have an initial reply post that's due by Friday, and then you have a minimum of 2 additional reply posts due by Sunday night. So again, there's some expectations there. You can look at the rubric. I'll double check to make sure it's posted and you can see it, make sure there's no issues there. But again, the initial post, I'm looking for you to basically show a substantial post and be able to show connectivity to the readings, what you were to read that week. Because otherwise, how do I know that you're getting it, right? So the goal is to have a substantial post with connectivity, to show connectivity to what you've read, so I can see that you can connect the dots. That's what I'm looking for, right? So then with your reply post, typically on Thursday, I'll post an alternative reply. So sometimes it's hard to reply to the discussion questions the way they're worded. So you have the option. You can do the traditional reply to students if you choose, or I'll throw up maybe a relevant news article or something that came up, or just an article that I've used in the past that I really like, or a small YouTube video. I'll say, watch this, post a reply post to that. That reply post will count as a one reply post like you would if you replied to another student, right? So those alternative reply posts is what I call them. Again, those are optional. They're not required. If you want to do them, great. If you just want to do the traditional reply to your classmates, that's perfectly fine too. I do one other thing. On Thursday nights at 8:30, I hold live discussions. So if you come on Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, we'll have a WebEx meeting. And typically I'm going to have kind of outline of things that I'm going to discuss, depending on how many students show up. We might do breakout sessions. We might just stay together. If it was tonight and it was just the 3 of us, we would just stay in a room and I'd have a list of things we would talk about. I try to keep that to an hour to be respectful of your time. But here's the caveat. Here's the great thing, right? If you come to the Thursday night live discussions, then you're done for the rest of the week for the discussion replies. It covers all of your reply posts, right? So 1 hour of FaceTime with me and your classmates, then you get over the initial reply post and the 2 additional reply posts past that. So again, it doesn't work for everybody. Some people like it, some don't. It's not required. It's an option, right? Some students like it, some don't. Again, it's not required. It's an option. You can do just the traditional reply post to your classmates as you've done in other classes. But I think if you at least give the live discussions a chance, most students like them because they get a chance to actually see their classmates and have a intelligent discussion. And, I'm going to give you things to, maybe a short video to watch or a short article to read before Thursday night. We might typically what I do is I break it into the first half hour and the second half hour. First half hour we discuss your initial discussion board post and just have conversations. Usually break up into groups of 3 or 4, and then I have another topic. Typically it's along the lines of the alternative reply post, and we'll have a discussion about that. The rules are you have to participate. You can't just come and just sit there and look at the screen for an hour. That doesn't count as active participation. So you've got to contribute to the conversation in some form or some fashion. I usually keep a little check sheet and I just check your name off if you've contributed. If we do breakout rooms, I bounce around from one breakout room to the next, right? When they initially set up this course, I've been teaching for, I think, 3 years now in the master's program. They had a couple case analysis to do. I think it's overkill. So I got rid of one of them. You only have one case analysis due, which is week 3. And then the final project is what I really like the most, and I've changed the order of it too. You'll do interview questions week 5. You'll do interview a professional week 6. You'll do your presentation week 7, and then week 8 you'll watch videos of your classmates and reply to those. Right? I was a little frustrated when I first started because you guys did these amazing presentations, and I was the only one to get to watch them, and I was like, this is such a waste. So I changed the order to make it to where you have to watch your classmates because honestly, 95% of the students do an outstanding job on those final presentations. Not to set the bar high, Cole, but they're usually pretty good. So I have high expectations of your final presentations as well. So that expectation goes both ways, right? You can expect a lot from me because I feel like I will give a lot, but I, in return, expect a lot from you. So just a couple other caveats or things I want to discuss. Again, there's a ask your professor or other students board on most classes. You can post just general questions there. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not real good about checking those. So don't expect a reply. If you want to get in contact with me, send me an email directly to gordon50@purdue.edu. You'll get a response, and typically, again, I have my phone that I'm connected with, and I'm usually up late till 11 o'clock. I usually get up at 6, so usually between 11 and 6 a.m. I won't answer, but otherwise you'll usually get a pretty quick response from me. It's not going to be 3 days later. It's my goal is 24 hours that you're going to get a reply from me, right? If you ask me a question that's already in the syllabus, already answered, I might be delayed in answering it. Be like, look first, make sure that I haven't already addressed that before you just send me a question, right? So anyway, I'm trying to think what else. That's just kind of the basic overview of things I wanted to discuss, kind of how the course is going to go. I guess I kind of wanted to open it up to you guys and, just ask you questions, comments, or any concerns, what you've read or what you've looked at so far.
It all seems to make good sense to me. I don't know if you noticed, I haven't checked back to Brightspace. There was a question from somebody because if you have the Kindle version of the textbook, sometimes the pages don't match up.
Yeah, I'm not going to go check pages. I've read the book. I've referenced the book. So again, if you don't have the correct edition, I'm not going to get hung up on that. So don't worry about that. That's fine.
Okay.
But thanks for bringing that up. And I'll post. I'll go and look at that and address that.
Okay.
Any other questions, Cole? Anything? I mean, you're the veteran here, right? You're nine classes in, so.
I don't really have questions. I think this is certainly actually a significantly different approach than most of the professors in the program. I've never had a video session with a professor. The only other class I've even heard the voice of the professor was my personal branding class, and she did like 5 to 10 minute prepared videos every week that were just uploaded, and you would watch and as a supplement to your readings. I think that's a nice approach. I've always found in my undergrad, especially, that I performed better in when I was able to have discussions. So I think that's a really awesome opportunity. I think I spend most of my time on the road for work, so I'm not going to be able to make it every week, but it's a nice option to have that saves me a lot of time because I think the next 8 weeks I'm home 20 days. So being able to have that even can help me save some time on doing discussion posts because I'm a notoriously slow writer, which is funny in communications and speech writing.
You just want to make sure it's good, so you take your time.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that. We'll say that.
Yeah, it's, you know what, it is a different approach, and like I said, some people like it, some don't. Again, a lot of students say, well, what do you do on Thursday night? Well, I do it on Thursday night because I want you to do your initial post on Wednesday. I want you to have read the material to where at least you're somewhat prepared to have an intelligent discussion on the topic, right? And honestly, at 8:30 at night, it works for me because I have two little boys, 6 and 9 years old, and they're in bed, and my wife's getting ready for bed, so it doesn't take time away from them. So it just works for me. I don't want to give up my Friday nights and Saturday nights. I've done that for, I've got my master's, my PhD, so I've spent plenty of nights studying. So Thursday nights just work. And I know they're not going to work for everyone. And I've asked students in the past, well, should we record them? Should we record them and post them? And most students are like, no, if they don't come, then they don't come. So
Yeah.
I'll ask this class as well. If everybody agrees, and not everybody, we'll take a vote. If everybody wants to record them and post them, then I will. If not, then we won't. So because most students, if they don't come, they're not going to watch them also. They're just not
Right.
going to. So then I'm just wasting my time, and I don't want to do that. But I want to make it interactive. I want to make it to where you're getting something out of it. At the end of the day, if I haven't moved the needle and expanded your knowledge or your thinking or your perspective on the way you view things, then I guess I haven't done my job. So my job is to, from the time you begin the class to the time you end, to at least make you at least have thought about things from a new or different perspective, and realize we're not going to agree upon everything. That's okay. I want you to respectfully disagree, right, with anybody, not just me. But if you disagree with me, make sure you have your ducks in a row, because I've got some experience, and I've got some knowledge. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I do have some experience. But it's always good to hear other perspectives too, especially with the global environment that we're working in. There's a lot of experiences that people have that I don't have. So it's always interesting to hear from other people's points of view on different topics. So, and those are the discussions we have on Thursday nights, because I think, again, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm the professor, I'm the all-knowing. That's not true. I've got my perspective, my knowledge, my experience, and you guys bring that to the table as well. And I want you guys to be able to share that with each other. So, and that's the point of the discussions. And you just get more out of a live discussion than you do the discussions back and forth. My opinion. I have no research to back that, but that's just my opinion.
Right.
So,
well, I like having the option. Does it start tomorrow night then?
Thursday night. So tomorrow's Wednesday, right?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Concept of what day it is anymore since the pandemic. So.
Yeah, Thursday night we'll have our first discussion, and hopefully more students will show up. Again, I know the post was kind of last minute, but I'll make a post about the live discussion, and hopefully more people will participate. And if you're talking to other students, please encourage them to come.
I will do.
So, any questions about the course, the grading, anything along those lines? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but
yeah, it seemed pretty clear from the syllabus and the information you provided.
okay.
Yeah, it's nice to have a clear rubric for discussions. I think sometimes that's the first time I've seen one in the 10 courses, and sometimes you just lose points. You're like, why? And because you don't get don't get direct feedback, and that's sometimes a
if you again, I rely on the rubric. Again, most of the time it's because students are either doing giving a very short answer. I want some more substance there to show that the depth of your knowledge. That's really the main thing. I want you to have citations at least in your initial post, and your reply post that isn't as critical. But in your initial post, you need to you need to show citations to show connectivity. That's what I'm looking for. But again, the reply post can be more organic or fluid in the conversation, but it still doesn't hurt to cite a source or to support your thoughts with evidence with a citation or something you've read and brought into the conversation. So, and you guys, after the first one, you'll kind of get a feel for, what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from me or anything? I mean, I know I didn't want to make this too long. I just wanted to kind of say hello and let you guys know there's a real person behind the screen here. And I'm not a magician. I'm just the instructor. And if you have questions, my job is to help you in the process. But at the end of the day, you have to do the work. That's the expectation. You're at a master's level program. And if you need something, I'm here to help. If you have issues, I guess the last thing I'd like to leave with is if you have issues or problems, again, Cole, if you're going to be traveling, you have a problem making a deadline or post, I don't have a problem working with you at all as long as you notify me ahead of time. When you notify me after the fact, I'm probably not as forgiving, just unless there's extenuating circumstance. Had a tornado go through and I lost my internet, But otherwise, just communicate with me. That's my expectation. You're in a communications master's program, so I would think that your communication should be over the top instead of under, right? So,
Yep.
okay. Well, Cole, you're on the road. What do you do? What's your job?
Yeah, so I'm in executive communications for the American Farm Bureau. So there's two of us that do executive comms as part of a 12-person comms team. And so I'm the primary traveler with our president CEO, and he goes all over the country doing, the structure of the organization is, 50 state organizations and 2,800 county organizations. And so we do a lot of travel to get out and meet with our member families and see what's going on farms all over the country. And so they send a comms person so we can work that into his speeches and columns and talking points and all that, the social media channels. So it's a really fun job, and winter is actually the busiest season because that's when all of our states have their annual meetings. So
Okay.
and I'll be in 15 states in the next 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's for my airline miles. So.
Yeah. I have two little boys, so that wouldn't work for me. So they want to see their dad every night, and so I'm lucky I can be home most nights. I don't travel too much. Every now and then I have to, and they hate it. So, but Kristen, you have any? I know you work at Purdue. You said I think Cole missed that part.
Yep.
MSWE building.
Yep. For the School of Electrical and Computer Engineering, I'm their communications director.
Okay.
So, I've been at Purdue for 16 years, and I have two kids there who are going to graduate. They'll both graduate in May. One of them is taking his victory lap as he's a super senior. The other one's getting out, and my daughter's getting out in 4 years. So they'll both end up graduating at the same time.
Now you're going to give her a bonus since she didn't take the extra lap?
Maybe.
Might have to give her an extra special graduation gift since she got done in 4.
Exactly. And I'll make it feel like, once they graduate in May, maybe I'll feel like I actually have some money again. So
yeah, I was going to say, you're going to get a huge raise in May, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Good for you. Okay. Well, again, I'm here. If you guys have any questions, issues, or whatever, feel free to reach out to me. Were you able to get the Harvard Business Review pack? Did you have any issues with that? It's like
Nope.
$30. Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, they're good articles, and again, we'll use all of them. So throughout the course, go ahead and start thinking about who you're going to be interviewing. It's never too early to start looking ahead at the final project. You have to do I think I changed it. It's an 8 to 10 minute final presentation. I took out the paper and I increased the presentation length a little bit, but I think that's where you get the most value out of the course myself is that final presentation. So start thinking about who that person would be that you're going to interview, for your final presentation. And then we'll talk more about the presentation as the semester progresses. Again, we'll have discussions on Thursday nights, and I'll post announcements also about it. So,
Sounds good.
okay, well, I'm signing off unless you guys haven't. Cole, did you have
I
something?
was just going to add one thought. That spurred a thought. It would be nice. I think most questions that I've seen come on that final project, and I'm in a Facebook group with other Purdue students who we just don't get the information we want from the instructors. So we're all trying to crowdsource what needs to be in a final project. So it's nice to have, if these questions come up in discussions, and for folks that can't make it, that would be one part that is worth sharing. If you get a few questions that seem to be similar, posting up, in the discussions on Thursdays, posting those on announcements for folks that can't make it.
Yeah, and that's my mantra. Typically, if I get a couple questions the same similar type, I usually post an announcement, because my feeling is one person has it and not a big deal. But when more than one person asks, there's probably some unclarity, and other students are probably asking the same thing. And the thing is, I'm available to where if students we'll probably have part of a session on one of the Thursday nights where we talk about just the final project. And if you're in that meeting, just remind me, say, hey, Dr. G, record this so you can post it for everybody, because that portion is useful. And again, I don't want students to be guessing what I expect from them. I want them to have clear expectations and understand, and they shouldn't have to guess at that. I should clearly communicate that, and hopefully I will. And if not, ask questions and I'll clear it up for you guys. So, but the time you get there, I think you'll see that you'll understand what I'm looking for, and it's pretty straightforward. But I'll make sure that you guys clearly understand it. I can promise you that.
Great.
Okay, it's 25 minutes. I wanted to keep this to 30 minutes. I've done that.
Awesome.
But there's only been 2 of you. If there was 6 or 8, it would have been a little bit harder, I think. But it's good seeing your faces. I love meeting students face to face, and getting to know you a little bit. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Hopefully I'll see you Thursday. Cole, if you can't make it, hopefully make the ones you can. If it's not your wheelhouse, not what you want to do, that's fine too. It's good to see your face, and congratulations being your last course. Sorry you're stuck with me the last course, but
well, I've already started reading, and I seem to be enjoying it more than some other classes. So
yeah, it's
just the first week. It could get boring.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's probably not going to. I mean, you could, but I don't think so. So, okay, I'll let you guys go. You guys have a great night, and I'll post this recording so others can see, and hopefully we'll see you Thursday.
Sounds good. Thanks for your time.
Yep. Good night, y'all.
Bye.